Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us here today on this video.
Yes, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, we always love doing this. And Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And Mom, I know we're starting off a new month for this Friday.
Yes, we are. We are beginning our April Action Month.
Yes, we are. And Mom, what show are we speaking about here today?
Today we're going to talk about the Greatest American Heroine.
Yes, and this is a little bit of uncharted territory for us in this channel.
Yes, it is, Brandon. Will you tell the audience why?
Yes, so there's numerous reasons why. But this episode not only is the series finale of The Greatest American Hero, but it itself is a unaired pilot for a series of its own.
All right. Tell us a little bit about that, Brandon.
Yes, so The Greatest American Hero was canceled in 1984, and so it's about 2 years later they decide, well, you know what, let's make a new series about a female hero. And so they made The Greatest American Heroine, and that was supposed to be a continuation of the original show. But NBC decided not to pick it up, and so later in syndication, they had to rework the pilot into the final episode of The Greatest American Hero, episode 45. So, in essence, it started off being filmed as a first episode of one series and ended up being, which ended up being unaired. And then it ended up as the unaired final version of the original show. So, really uncharted territory because it's a unaired premiere that was turned into a finale.
Yeah, and I became fascinated with it. I watched, or you and I and your brother, we watched The Greatest American Hero during the COVID time period. And I absolutely loved it. I probably was one of the few, but I really liked the show. And so when you told me about that this episode existed, I thought that was something we had to tackle. And so, I will give just a little synopsis for the audience to know. Once more, we know that Ralph is our hero and that he has a suit that kind of gives him extra powers. And so Ralph is actually caught as the hero. Not in a bad way, but he was caught, meaning that other people knew who he was. And so when this happened, he became famous, and the aliens from above who gave him the suit met with him again. So he was kind of called up by the aliens. And so he went to go see the aliens again. They asked Ralph to please give the suit to someone else so that someone else could have the powers and also to be able to help and be a little bit more discreet about it. And so he had to search, and he did find a young lady named Holly who he thought could actually pull this off. Holly would then take the place of Ralph in regards to working with Bill. Bill was still going to continue being the helper per se with the crimes and things like that, and helping to know which ones to solve. So Holly and Bill did work together. In this particular episode, we saw just them working a little bit together. And then I guess for future episodes, it would be both of them fighting the crime. So that was the first episode and the only episode of The Greatest American Heroine, which of course never aired.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and overall, what are your thoughts about this episode?
I liked it. I will say this. You can tell that it was, I don't want to say restructured. You could tell that it was edited quite a bit. And this is just my opinion, not, of course, seeing any of the real footage or anything like that. But there were some things in here that I'm sure that this was originally a 2-hour movie, that they edited it down to an hour TV show. And I say that because at some point in time when Holly and Bill were together, they were fighting a caper, but they never really finished the caper. They just established that she was there to help for this particular caper, but they didn't really finish the caper itself. And so that makes me think that this is supposed to be a longer special, and they just edited it down. Did you think that, Brandon?
Yeah, definitely, because while I really did enjoy it, and I like the characterization that they gave Holly as alongside the conclusion they gave to Ralph and Pamela. In the same regard, I remember finishing, it's like, well, wait a minute. Did they ever actually finish the plot, of the episode? And not really, but I think they gave enough to give a satisfying conclusion for the original series, at least to an extent, knowing that the action continued on. But we don't really know what happens after this.
Yeah, like you said, they did give enough, and I thought they did a nice job kind of combining and editing. You just knew that something was missing, or at least after watching the original, especially since the original first episode was 2 hours. I believe that this would have been a longer episode if this, based upon the way it was kind of edited together, it appears as though it would have been a longer episode, especially since the original was 2 hours for the original first episode. And based upon the background that they like to give, or at least they appear to like to give in this particular show, I really think that this was should have been a 2 hour episode.
Yeah, I definitely fully agree with you. And but do you think that this gave a proper conclusion to the characters of the series?
I think they did. I think they did. I would have liked them after she had her first caper. I really would have liked to see her actually reflect a little bit with Ralph and with Pamela. I think that would have been a nice conclusion, and we don't know, that could have been cut. But that was the only thing to me that was missing, was them all together at one time. Because even though Ralph gave her the suit and told her some information, they all lived in the same city. So I think they could have kind of finished it off that way. But I will say that Bill and Holly, they had a really nice rapport. Ralph and Bill had an incredible rapport, but Bill and Holly did have a nice rapport, and so I like that they kind of kept that together.
Yeah, I did like that as well. And I really wish, of course, as you just said, that we would have gotten a little bit more of, yeah, I mean, of the everyone together, just because I don't feel that there were many moments that did. And I kind of like the storytelling angle of it, that the first half of it was Bill's sort of retrospective in a audio recording he was giving himself, and then flashbacks within it. But yeah, catching up to the present. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the episode, but I was really intrigued learning about Holly's story and her foster daughter and the camaraderie they had.
Yes, that it was really nice, and it'd be interesting to see if they would have kept the daughter in there. And I only say that because Ralph originally had a son in the episode, and he was kind of just forgotten about, meaning in the original series. I I would have hoped that they would keep at least the daughter in this one.
Yeah, I definitely have that hope as well. And I remember leaving it feeling like, wow, I want to see what happens in the series, even though, of course, we'll never know. And I'd love to see one day if the rest of the footage ever comes out.
Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting if they ever if they ever show the rest of the footage. I have a feeling they won't, but it'd be interesting if they ever did decide to do that.
I'm at least glad that they decided to even, give us this much, considering that it was never intended, per se, to be the series finale.
Yeah, actually, I am too. I'm too. But I'm glad like I said, I'm glad they did show this much for it.
Yeah. And, of course, in condensing it into a series finale of the original series, they also made it where they used the theme song of the original show, and then just with a title card that changed it from the Greatest American Hero to the Greatest American Heroine.
Yes, I absolutely love this theme song. It's probably one of my favorite theme songs out here.
And overall, in terms of this episode, would you say that that it feels like an episode of The Greatest American Hero?
Actually, I think so. I thought the continuity was really well. So yes, and the fact that Bill starts it off by saying it's 5 years since we've worked together, um, I thought they did a nice job. And you said they were right on point for the years that they did quote on there. And just for everyone to know, they claim it was supposed to be May 15th, 1986.
Yeah, and it was produced in 1986, but again, it never really aired, so we don't know when the first time that we've actually would have seen it would have been. But yeah, but had it been a series that would have aired, it would have been in '86.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just so excited that we were able to speak about the show, and it definitely I think is unique in where it falls within TV, considering that it technically never existed.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll have to let us know in the comments. Is this a show that you've heard about? Were you a fan of The Greatest American Hero? Because people go either way for the show. They either like it or they love it. They either like it or they hate it. It seems to be one extreme or the other. So I'd love to hear if you're one of the people who liked it.
Yeah, and I'll say too that up until the pandemic, when you binged the whole series, is that you'd always said the theme song was the best part of the show. And while I do love the theme song, don't get us wrong. That yeah, how was it for you? Visiting the show, I guess technically for the first time of the pandemic.
Well, I was surprised. I really liked it, and there, and I had not seen it at all, and so to watch it in its entirety and almost back to back, it was actually fun to watch. And so, you know, some people thought the first episode was a little tedious, but I enjoyed it. So I really liked the show.
Yeah, well, I definitely enjoyed the series as well, and so definitely for those two again, definitely try to find the first episode of the Greatest American Heroine. Let us know your thoughts, and also check out our discussion of the first episode of the Greatest American Hero.
Yeah, please do, please do.
And Mom, are we going to rate the show?
Oh yes, I will rate this. Let's see. Just for everyone to know, I've been beginning to rating shows 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. I would give this one a 4. I thought it was strong enough to receive a 4. And you, Brandon?
Yeah, I definitely would give it a 4 as well. And yeah, I thought it did a really good job of balancing both being a start to a new chapter and a conclusion to another one. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. And even though, of course, we don't get to everything that probably the original planned TV film would have done, I still think that we got at least a satisfactory enough conclusion of the original series and a tease for what could have been.
Yes, we did. We did. We did. And we thank everyone for watching today.
Yeah, we definitely do, and we hope that you continue tuning in all April.
Yep, we hope you continue during our action month. Let's see what else we have planned. All right, thank you for watching, everybody.
And we'll see you next time.
All right, bye bye.